Nigeria is the largest black nation in the world, with about 150 million people and over 200 languages. It is difficult to believe that there are many people in this continent who have never seen a doctor. Christian Medical Fellowship is a group of volunteers committed to taking the gospel and free medical care to the poor and desperate across the globe.
CMF began in 1995. Began as a very small group that would meet on a monthly basis, having fellowship meetings. I felt a real need to have a group where people of a like faith could come together and share their experiences and their love for God and their commitment to serving people.
CMF is one of many programs where people are phenomenally dedicated to giving back all the things that they've gained.
If there were more programs like CMF, the world would be a much better place.
While a large percentage of the volunteers are of the medical profession, there are also volunteers from other walks of life.
There are scads of opportunities in every facet, in every field that you could imagine. And again, you know, the only skill you need is a willing heart.
I've come back because the need is just so tremendous that there are so many people that just have, some who have never seen a doctor or who have gynecologic issues that have been neglected for so many years. There's just so much to do here. It's almost as if I can't not come back every year.
I was shocked to see just how little they had, and the reception that we got was unbelievable. And it just, the little bit that we would do for them, it stood for so much to them that that contrast to what people here in America have for an appreciation of what others do for them was huge. We would take their blood pressure and they thought that was just the best thing that anyone ever did for them.
This one woman just had 104 fever, and just being able to get her the medicine she needed and fan her and just be available to her and whatever the needs are.
People need to understand that there's a huge need, and they don't need much to get started. A little bit of help from a lot of people would go a long way toward really changing people's lives. We went to a leper colony and saw people that, you know, have missing body parts because of something that didn't get treated when it could have been resolved before they suffered as much as these people are suffering.
IV cannula, 18 or 20.
Every project comes with its own set of challenges, but God has been faithful to see them through.
I don't know what happened. I just came around kind of the end part there, and she looks like she got into a car accident, had some facial lacerations that weren't too extensive, but it looked like she might have had a left arm fracture of some sort. So we got her stable, gave her some pain medication, some fluids, and we're going to send her off to the hospital where they can take care of that fracture.
Like my father.
Oh, yeah?
Cut above the eye isn't
lighter,
bad.
though,
She's very fortunate that piece of glass didn't go into her eye. She would have lost her eye for sure.
So that's really not a big problem. The arm is a big problem. It's fractured or dislocated or both.
The operating theater was mounted on the back of a truck pulled by a big semi-trailer vehicle, and the operating room inside, I measured it, it was about 8 by 20 feet. There was a prep room at the back of it and a non-functioning toilet in the prep room and a non-functioning sink so that when we went to scrub somebody had to pour water out of a bucket to scrub. And there were 3 operating tables inside. In some cases there was only one procedure going at a time, but there were many times when we had 3 cases running with one anesthesiologist. And there were 2 days that we operated with the diesel generator non-functional. So it was 90 to 95 degrees. I actually brought a thermometer so I knew what the temperature was. I didn't have a humidity gauge, so I had no idea what that was. But you can imagine it was pretty hot and humid. So that was a fun time. So we had people with flashlights over open abdomens. And I had been smart enough on Peter's urging to pick up 2 headlamps from Walmart that were little headlamp strapped on your head things, ran on 4 AA batteries. And that was very helpful because without that, those 2 days we would have had no light. And doing open abdominal surgery with ambient light through the open windows was a bit of a trick.
Despite the challenges they must face in every mission, the volunteers are quick to tell you how helping these people has changed their own lives.
And you see the people that you're touching and that you're affecting, and then you leave and you say, okay, Lord, I understand why you're having us do this. You know, you're exhausted, you're ready to go, but part of you wants to stay forever to work on, to help those people.
When you see it on TV, it's not enough, but when you're here, it's like, you're just amazed because you never expected it. So.
I think when you look out at the hospital in the morning and you see 500 people lined up, all wanting to see a physician, that's very powerful.
There's many challenges on the mission field. Probably the most frustrating is having to leave at the end of the time, having to leave and have patients that either weren't able to be seen or having to leave and have conditions that weren't able to be taken care of.
Peter and Susan Schnage don't have a typical lifestyle. While other people are on vacation, Peter and Susan are on a medical mission in a third world nation.
And there have been many times along the way where I felt, what's the purpose? What's the point? Why should we continue doing this and working so hard and spending so much energy?
The first time we met and talked, I wondered why Peter would be interested in Africa. But the more I got to know him, the more I saw his heart.
Christian Medical Fellowship not only reaches to the people in the third world, but also in their local community.
Christian Medical Fellowship has been alive and active, has been meeting monthly for monthly fellowship meetings, has been doing outreach in the community, serving people locally, and has been doing yearly mission trips. Those patients that we see, we're able to give life-changing medical care. We do have, as I mentioned before, patients who were blind who have vision restored. Patients who had life-threatening surgical conditions are healed and cured and have the opportunity to have longer days to live.